Our military will soon be the strongest it has ever been.
The United States took a very measured step last night. We are prepared to do more.
We are keenly aware that every battlefield where an enemy hides behind women and children is also a humanitarian field.
It's been 7 years since the deadly conflict in Syria erupted, and there seems to be no end in sight. US-led coalition airstrikes continue to pound Islamic State targets in the war-torn country, a battle that appears to be the most lethal for civilians.
We found that the US strike on a mosque in northern Syria killed at least 38 different individuals. The US government really failed to understand the nature of their target.
UN war crimes investigators say that from March to June of last year, US-led coalition airstrikes killed at least 300 civilians in the ISIL stronghold of Raqqa.
Civilians are caught up in the city under oppressive rule of ISIL while facing the extreme danger associated with movement due to excessive airstrikes.
The US is also actively fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan, and its strikes have resulted in many civilian deaths. In 2015, airstrikes hit a Doctors Without Borders hospital in Kunduz. At least 42 people were reportedly killed. Washington called it an accident.
कम जिनात करान दा कार से कर अमेरिकान दा आरसीसी पे दा मौजू की दाखिल पे महकमा से आलमी महकमा दा पाकिस्तान से ना अमेरिका को अमेरिकान वाला मगर.
Then US President Barack Obama issued an apology and ordered an investigation, but the probe proved futile for Doctors Without Borders. The Pentagon disclaimed the organization's allegation the strike was a war crime, and the military personnel responsible for the mistakes did not go to court.
I am asking Congress to ensure that in the fight against ISIS and Al-Qaeda, we continue to have all necessary power to detain terrorists wherever we chase them down, wherever we find them. And in many cases, for them, it will now be Guantanamo Bay.
The Guantanamo Bay detention camp is located in southeastern Cuba. 780 detainees have been held there since it opened. Many of them were detained for years. However, the US has claimed the detainees there are not on US soil and therefore not covered by the US Constitution.
On nous met tout nus, on nous cambre comme ça, et on comment dirais-je, on se fait violer. C'était filmé, donc ils disaient OK, il lui dit un terme en anglais, donc ils disent OK.
Beating, sleep deprivation, force injections, and many other torture methods were reported by media and released prisoners.
In the past, I think the United States has prided itself on being the champion, acknowledged champion of basic human rights. And we no longer make that claim, and we no longer set an example like we used to.
2018, for Afghans, 17 years since the country was invaded by the forces of the free world. For Syrians, the bloody civil war enters its 7th year, with millions of its citizens still refugees. For prisoners in Guantanamo, another year of uncertainty in detention. For the marginalized and the dispossessed, caught in the crossfire of America's wars, there's little comfort and still no light at the end of a long, dark tunnel.